Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Random Guy on YouTube. Today I will be talking about AMN Healthcare Services. AMN Healthcare Services Incorporated is a mid-sized company with a capitalization of $3.4 billion. It trades under the ticker symbol AMN on New York Stock Exchange. AMN provides healthcare workforce solutions and staffing services to hospitals and healthcare facilities in the United States. There are three business segments: Nurse and Allied Solutions, Physician and Leadership Solutions, and Technology and Workforce Solutions. Nurse and Allied Solutions segment provides the majority of the revenue, while Technology and Workforce Solutions segment is the smallest but provides higher margins and growth compared to other segments. This growth is especially fueled by Vendor Management System. It is a web-based application to help hospitals obtain and manage its contingency staff. AMN is well positioned for the future since the population in the United States is aging and the healthcare industry is consistently understaffed. Medicare spending in the USA is growing. Since 2019, the AMN is so kind to publish earned revenue by segments. In the last 10 years, the compound annual growth of revenue reached about 18%. Since the pandemic, the growth has been even faster. But recently, there has been a pullback. This could be partially caused by unwinding the effects of the pandemic and partially because many managers paused new hirings in difficult economic conditions. However, this shouldn't last for long because the healthcare industry is understaffed. The AMN management believes that things will start to return to normal in summer. So, based on company's guidance, here are my guesstimates for the future revenue. Note the huge growth of Technology and Workforce Solutions segment from the low base. Of course, I can't know if the growth will continue. We don't have enough data points. This is my best guess. We can also differentiate operating margins for the business segments separately. Adjusted EBITDA margin takes all the segments together and counts in the corporate overhead expenses. AMN Q1 guidance for adjusted EBITDA margin is 15.4 to 15.9%. I expect a value closer to the high end of that range. This is what I think the future margins might look like. As you can see in the operating margins, I don't expect anything wild. However, the EBITDA margin is rising significantly because the tech segment has high growth and high margin and improves product mix over time. If the tech segment growth does not materialize, the adjusted margin shouldn't improve like that. Here we have earnings per share. My guesstimate of the future EPS is in orange. The black line is 19% compound annual growth of earnings based on Finviz.com predictions. It might be a coincidence, but if we had no growth at all in the tech segment, our predictions would be very closely aligned. I very well might be overly optimistic, but even if my projections do not pan out, the annual growth of 19% in EPS is still excellent. The stock price did very well over the years, and it topped in 2022. Right now, it is in 34% dip. The trailing 12 months price to sales ratio is at all-time low of 8.4. The price to sales ratio is at 0.7, the lowest since 2014. The long-term debt is a bit high. The long-term debt to equity ratio is at 0.81, and I am usually looking for the companies with the ratio under 0.5. However, AMN is very profitable and so far it has no problem servicing the debt. In fact, here is historical use of capital and the largest chunk goes to reducing debt. It is also notable that AMN has active buyback program with $150 million remaining. AMN had a compound annual growth rate of about 18% in the last 10 years. In recent years, growth has accelerated thanks to the pandemic. Future growth could be fueled mainly by Technology and Workforce Solutions segment. AMN is also well positioned for the future health industry is understaffed. The company is very profitable with a PE of 8.4. Price to sales ratio is at 0.7, lowest since 2014. AMN has active share repurchase program. I would also like to point out that AMN has a very low volatility with a beta of 0.33. Not that this would help with future returns in any way, but it could help to stabilize my portfolio a bit since we've seen some huge swings recently. Here is the portfolio update full table. I always try to keep it as free of errors as possible, and there might be some minor changes since the last time. Here is a reduced table with graphs. As you can see, my portfolio is swinging wildly lately. I might try to keep it more balanced and buy some lower beta companies in the future. As of today, my portfolio returned 5.5%, which is just under S&P's 6.2%. However, I am confident that I can beat S&P over the long term. Today, I am adding $100 worth of shares of AMN to the virtual portfolio. I am also adding 100 virtual dollars to each benchmark fund. For anyone still sticking around, here is a bonus. I thought it might be interesting to track what an average stock purchase in my portfolio does in X weeks. For example, 1 week after purchase, the average stock in my portfolio returned just over 5%. In 3 weeks, it reached the top of about 7%. Since the week 5 or 6, it goes downhill. As you move to the right, the average is made of lower and lower number of stocks, and it should be less and less reliable with wilder swings. When we reach the end of the graph, there is only one stock in my portfolio for 14 weeks. Again, you can compare it to the benchmarks. This year, how on average would a purchase into the index behaved after X weeks? This is all for now. Let me just remind you that I am a random guy on YouTube and not a financial advisor, and this video is not meant to be a financial advice. This is just a virtual portfolio with virtual money, but I do own real shares of AMN in my own stock portfolio. Thank you for watching and see you next week.